A new hybrid war vehicle has appeared on the Ukrainian battlefields. It is a T-80 tank, equipped with an RBU-6000 anti-submarine rocket launcher, a weapon previously used exclusively in naval warfare. This transformation may symbolize a search for innovative, if not desperate, solutions in response to the growing demand for artillery in the context of the conflict. The RBU-6000, developed in the 1960s for the Soviet naval forces, was designed for anti-submarine warfare. Equipped with 12 fan-shaped launching tubes, it can fire RGB-60 rockets. These projectiles, weighing 113 kilograms each, were initially intended to destroy submarines or torpedoes at depth. The range of these munitions reaches about 5.2 kilometers, with a firing rate of one rocket every 2.4 seconds. The T-80 tank is a robust armored vehicle, valued for its mobility and versatility. However, the integration of an anti-submarine rocket launcher raises questions about its effectiveness in an artillery role on land. The RBU-6000 system, due to its weight, significantly overloads the structure of the tank, which was originally designed to carry lighter weapons specific to ground warfare. This means the vehicle must operate under carefully controlled conditions to avoid mechanical failure. One of the main challenges associated with this adaptation is the manual reloading of rockets. Unlike naval systems, where munitions can be loaded automatically from storage cells below deck, the T-80 lacks the space or technology necessary for automated reloading. Each rocket must therefore be repositioned by hand, which not only slows the rate of fire but also exposes soldiers to increased danger on the battlefield. This combination of the T-80 and the RBU-6000 was observed for the first time in action during the conflict in Ukraine, although precise information on its effectiveness remains scarce. The system appears to have been used for short-range saturation fire, aiming to cover large areas without specific targeting. This results in fairly indiscriminate fire coverage, similar to that of multiple artillery systems like the BM-21 Grad, though the range of the RBU-6000 is more limited. The absence of sophisticated fire control systems, such as the Burya system used on ships, further reduces the precision of this weapon when mounted on a land-based tank. Firing is done primarily manually, relying on rudimentary ballistic calculation methods, which compromises the ability to accurately target moving or hidden objects. This adaptation of RBU-6000 rocket launcher on the T-80 can be perceived in several ways. On the one hand, it reflects a form of innovation in a war context where the need for heavy artillery is pressing. The lack of adequate equipment sometimes forces armed forces to cobble together solutions with available resources, repurposing weapons designed for entirely different contexts. On the other hand, this transformation also highlights some of the logistical weaknesses faced by the Russian army. While ground forces are under intense pressure, naval systems like the RBU-6000 are being modified for land use, despite the technical and operational challenges this entails. Likely, this hybrid vehicle will not be deployed in large numbers. It is more of an isolated attempt at adaptation or even an experimental test. The T-80 tank, equipped with the RBU-6000, represents a bold attempt to combine naval and land technologies to compensate for artillery shortages. However, implementing this combination poses significant challenges, particularly in terms of accuracy, logistics, and reloading. The effectiveness of this hybrid weapon remains highly uncertain. Nevertheless, this adaptation illustrates the complexity of modern warfare, where improvisation plays a crucial role in the evolution of military tactics and equipment. The T-80 was the most capable tank class to enter service in the Soviet Army during the Cold War, and although enhanced variants of the cheaper and lower-end T-72 were favored over it for continued production in Russia after the USSR disintegrated, culminating in the development of the T-90M as a much-improved T-72 derivative, the T-80 has been favored by Russian forces on the front lines in Ukraine. The tanks were inherited in considerable numbers by Russia, Ukraine and Belarus in 1991, resulting in them being fielded on both sides in the Russian-Ukrainian War. One of its most distinguishing features was its use of a gas turbine engine, was otherwise seen only on the American M1 Abrams tanks, while other tank classes including the T-72 and T-90 using diesel engines which were significantly cheaper both to manufacture and to maintain. With the tanks being deployed in growing numbers by the Russian army, a decision was announced in September 2023 to restart production almost a quarter century after production lines closed. Insight into the performance of the T-80 was provided by an unnamed commander of one of the tanks in the Russian army in the Zaporozhye region, emphasizing that the reliability and maneuverability of the vehicles was superior to other tanks such as the German Suppled Leopards being widely used by Ukrainian forces. The same Leopards are drowning in the mud, they are constantly drowning. We can observe from drones how they are being taken out of the mud. Our vehicle has a gas turbine engine, it is not afraid of mud or slush, it flies over all potholes. This is the difference that allows our tank units to operate in any weather, support infantry and overcome enemy trenches and dugouts without slowing down, he observed. With Ukraine's Western-built tanks continuing to take unsustainable losses, the fact that its T-80s and lower-end T-64s are also irreplaceable has boded ill for the future of its armored warfare capabilities.